Hi guys, I am Calentine and I am going to summarize and critique the anti-inflammatory diet. Hope you like it. First off, the anti-inflammatory diet, which is similar to the Mediterranean diet, is said to decrease inflammation in rheumatic and other afflicted individuals. So, what even is inflammation? Inflammation is a natural process of your body in response to an injury or infection to help fight foreign invaders like bacteria, plant pollen, chemicals, or other things. However, some individuals suffer from unhealthy chronic inflammation from certain conditions like rheumatoid arthritis. As you can see here on the left, we have a normal joint, and on the right, we have an unhealthy inflamed joint. And it's due to an immune reaction which results in swelling. Unhealthy chronic inflammation, which is long-term inflammation, can develop from multiple conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, like we said before, lupus, which is also an autoimmune disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. The anti-inflammatory diet claims to help reduce pain and inflammation in these afflicted individuals. From numerous sources, the diet states that many foods, such as refined carbohydrates like white breads, pastries, cookies, soda, fried foods like french fries, red meat like hot dogs, burgers, and steaks, and unhealthy saturated fats can obviously increase inflammation levels, while green leafy vegetables, fatty fish like mackerel and tuna, nuts, fruits and vegetables, and healthy fats help reduce pain and inflammation levels. Now, to me, it seems pretty obvious that the unhealthy foods mentioned above, like the french fries, soda, red meat, would increase inflammation, while the healthy foods like the vegetables, the fish, fruit, and the healthy fats would obviously decrease pain and inflammation. There are many compounds inside the healthy foods like omega-3s, calcium, vitamin C and D, antioxidants, anthocyanins, which are found in your red and purple fruits, that are great components of a healthy diet and can promote tissue repair, like in the inflammation, while the overconsumption of unhealthy foods could lead to organ and DNA damage. So, there are many claims and beliefs that nightshade vegetables like potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, okra, bell peppers can cause flare ups in rheumatic patients and should be avoided and restricted with the anti inflammatory diet. They contain a glycoalkaloid called solanine, which can be toxic if consumed in high quantities. However, according to the graphic from Harvard Health Publishing, tomatoes are an anti inflammatory food, not an inflammatory food. Some rheumatic patients report feeling better after avoidance of these vegetables. However, after significant research, there is no scientific evidence to back the statement that solanine is the inflammatory agent. Perhaps consumption of these vegetables should be eaten in low quantities, just to be cautious. So, we've talked about all the anti inflammatory foods, but is there a specific diet that contains these foods? Well, as stated earlier, the Mediterranean diet is the most similar diet plan to the anti inflammatory diet. The anti inflammatory foods are highly emphasized, and the inflammatory foods are minimized. Not only does the Mediterranean diet help reduce inflammation, but the diet is also known to improve energy levels and increase agility and longevity. Who should follow this diet? Well, anyone who wants to eat healthier would definitely benefit from this diet. It is the staple of healthy eating. Many individuals with heart and autoimmune diseases, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer would greatly benefit from this diet. As with any other diet, there are definitely pros and cons to the Mediterranean diet. The pros being in that it obviously decreases inflammation, like we've discussed. It's not very restrictive, meaning that you can practically eat anything off the food pyramid, just has to be somewhat healthy. It also promotes healthy eating and a lifestyle change. The cons being that it can be costly, all the healthy foods sometimes add up, and it can be hard to follow if you're used to living on a more Western type diet. As with any other diet, it's pretty important to get moderate amounts of exercise while eating the Mediterranean diet. Not only can the exercise help benefit your body, it can also boost endurance throughout the day and increase your agility and longevity. I thought it was a little important to share where this diet came from. Well, after observation that coronary heart disease was less prevalent in the Mediterranean countries like Greece, Italy, Croatia, the areas around the Mediterranean Sea, the United States copied their diet in the 1960s, and the diet is also supported and recommended by the American Heart Association and Arthritis Foundation. I thought it was a little important to share where this diet came from. After observation that coronary heart disease was less prevalent in the Mediterranean countries like Greece, Italy, Croatia, the areas around the Mediterranean Sea, the United States copied their diet in the 1960s, and it is used and endorsed by the American Heart Association and even the Arthritis Foundation. There are certain foods on the diet that possibly might cause allergens for some people, like soy, nuts, and cheese. However, these can easily be substituted for another source of food from another group. For anyone that actually wanted to try the Mediterranean diet, well, instead of, say, your chips, crackers, and ranch dip as your snack, you could substitute it with carrots, celery, and salsa. Or instead of having ice cream late at night, you could have some low-fat yogurt and put some granola on top of it. Or instead of getting Domino's pizza, you could try making your own flatbread pizza with healthier and fresher ingredients. To strengthen the claim of how good the anti-inflammatory and Mediterranean-style diets are for rheumatic patients, I found a randomized clinical trial which 144 women with low-activity rheumatoid arthritis were placed into 4 groups. One group was placed on a Mediterranean diet, another on a dynamic exercise program, another group with both the diet and the exercise program, and a control group. Results showed that through the surveys given, women with low-activity rheumatoid arthritis had an improved quality of life with a combination of both the diet and the exercise. Another study I found to help strengthen the claim of the Mediterranean diet was a systematic review. The goal of the study was to discuss the effects of the diet on patients with rheumatoid arthritis in human prospective studies. Only one study reported a reduction in the 28 joint count disease activity score for rheumatoid arthritis in the Mediterranean diet group. However, the study identified beneficial effects of the Mediterranean diet in reducing pain and increasing physical function in people living with arthritis. In conclusion, the Mediterranean diet is great for people with rheumatoid arthritis and affiliated diseases, but there is not enough evidence to support the diet as means of a preventative treatment from what the review says. I was also pretty interested in Harvard's take on the anti-inflammatory diet. According to Dr. Frank Hugh, a professor of nutrition and epidemiology in the Department of Nutrition at the Harvard School of Public Health, many experimental studies have shown that components of foods or beverages may have anti-inflammatory effects, like the chart on the right. For the anti-inflammation foods, we have the tomatoes, fruits, nuts, fatty fish, leafy greens, and olive oil. And then at the bottom, they have the inflammation foods. They also said that doctors are learning that one of the best ways to reduce inflammation is not in the medicine cabinet, but in the refrigerator. By following the anti-inflammatory diet, you can fight off inflammation for good. Overall, I believe that the Mediterranean diet can be beneficial for everyone. It's simple. It is high in nutritionally dense food while being low in unhealthy foods. It incorporates all the food groups and is exceedingly well balanced. From my research, there is evidence to support the idea that the diet, with moderate exercise, can also improve life conditions for individuals with rheumatic diseases, heart diseases, diabetes, and cancer. However, there is not significant evidence that elimination of nightshade vegetables from the diet of a patient with a rheumatic illness will be beneficial. However, some people report feeling better after avoiding them. I believe that those who suffer with inflammation should try the Mediterranean diet to ease their pain. If the patient is still experiencing joint discomfort and swelling, they should then attempt to minimize the amount of nightshade vegetables in their diet. Overall, I give this diet a thumbs up. And here is my works cited page, and thank you so much for listening.